Point. Each doctor has their own point, and they leave those last abortions that they won't do to doctors like Tiller.
Why don't they, I'm just asking this, I don't make value judgments about people's personal decisions. Why don't people make the decision to deliver the baby even if earlier than normally appropriate?
Well, these are
people who late in term decide not to have a baby, why don't they deliver the baby if it's a medical problem?
It's very complicated. A lot of these are, some of them are you discover late you have a terrible complication with the baby. It is either going to die inside you, it is going to die during delivery or shortly after delivery and have a miserable couple of hours. Then there are also
But why can't any other doctor handle that kind of a situation? Why do you have to go to one of these 3 doctors if that's the case? If it's a real medical problem, if the woman has a health concern, which is totally legal under Roe v. Wade, why can't other doctors honor that?
Well, at some point, you know, I mean, there are regulations in place that say if it's a viable pregnancy and it doesn't qualify for one of these things, you do have to deliver the baby. And sometimes there's something that's sort of a delivery and sort of an abortion, where you know, this is what the whole born alive procedure, the whole partial birth debate was about. It's a very complicated situation at the end, but in most of these cases, there's nothing good. I should say there are cases where there's no real medical situation other than some teenager was in denial and it went on for 5 months and there's not really a good explanation.
They were hiding from their father.
Exactly. And in those cases, those are the much trickier question where the debate is, should you make an exception because the so-called mental health of the girl is at stake?
Well, why don't they just have the baby at that point?
Well,
there's no real health
that's
problem.
a debate about whether, you know, you want to have a baby.
This is where it gets very difficult to make judgments and very difficult for people from one side to accept the other side.
I do think that, I mean, I'm personally opposed to what he does. I actually don't believe in late-term abortions. But I have to say, on my blog today, a lot of women wrote in and told me their own stories of this. And I was kind of shaken by the fact that most women, almost all women that go to these places, are in desperate straits. The children are very, very deformed or ill or will not survive birth, or the mother's health is directly threatened. These are very grave and difficult circumstances. I think that Dr. Tiller, even though I disagree with him, was acting according to his conscience within the law. And I think our role, those of us who want to end abortion, is to act within our conscience and persuade and testify and peacefully protest, but not engage in this kind of stuff. And, you know,
I want to ask you something that is often cited and used by those arguing against that procedure. They say that there was a Dr. Haskell who once gave an interview who said that 80% of the late abortions that he performed were elective. Do you see a lot of women electing not out of, you know, genetic problems with their fetus, but because of other reasons? They just decide late in the pregnancy they don't want to have a baby?
Well, in the first place, I can't speak for Dr. Haskell. He can speak for himself. But I think that what I see is an incredibly complicated situation. These are very difficult and painful decisions for the women. And they're under tremendous stress, and many times these pregnancies are threats to their lives. And I think that even people that have all the information have a difficult time making a decision about this. So the thing is that nobody is better prepared to make this decision than the woman in consultation with her physician. And people need to back off and understand that this is first of all, having safe abortions available is a major public health issue. And we have solved it in the 20th century. We're going backwards now, this is a major medical problem for women. And pregnancy is not a benign condition. Women die from being pregnant. And many times the late abortion is a life-saving procedure.
When you heard